2 weeks ago, Pastor Ken had to do a funeral. He did a tremendous job. And during this funeral service, during the eulogy, he used this word. Actually, I thought he used a different word, but I chose this word, which means the same word that he used. It was a Welsh word. He likes the Welsh for some reason. But I found it in a Portuguese, because I was talking to Will about this. And this word, saudade, is a word that really doesn't have a direct English translation, but it means to have a deep emotional state of melancholic longing about the past. I asked Will about this. Has he ever used it? He said, yeah, in the Portuguese it means to miss somebody and to miss the times you had with somebody and to remember back. And the memories that you have, it might not have been what really existed, but you remember it that way, and it leaves this sweet sadness in your soul. And so as Ken was using this word in the sermon at the funeral, I asked myself this question. When was the best of times for me personally? What do I really miss? And I ask you that. If you thought back, what are the best of times for you? Well, for me, it was when I was about 9 or 10 years old. It was back in the hot summers of the 1970s. Everything back in the 70s just seemed brighter, happier, better. Colors seemed to have tastes, and tastes seemed to have colors. I remember my mom's moss rose garden. She'd have these oranges they looked like candy corn, and reds that reminded me of just the taste of strawberries. I remember I had a blue pool pass. It was laminated with plastic. I'd bring it every day to the pool. It had this blueberry color blue. I just can remember. I'll never forget it. It's like the simple things were thrilling. They were clear and clean, and they caused you to have hope in the day. And I love the simple things. I love things like the red and greens on the end of my mom's fondue sticks. Sounds so weird. But she had these fondue sticks and the red and greens. I just would look at them. I love the feel of dry grass that just was cut on a hot July afternoon in your bare feet. Oh, it was great. I love the wiffle ball games in the backyard with a thin plastic wiffle ball bat. We also had that fat red one you could hit home run with every time. Those were great days. Remember the tan, dusty brown bag of baseballs where Jim Whitley and I would play home run derby? We had 25 baseballs in this bag that was always dusty, but the leather just felt right. It was that baseball that felt so good. We'd go to the under-the-light softball games. Afterwards, I'd run on the field with my friends and get little Dixie cups, fill them up with dirt, and throw them high up in the air or at my sisters and just watch them blow up like dirt. It was great fun. It was great. I remember taking firecrackers and blowing up anthills in the back. I remember lawn darts. Do you guys remember lawn darts? Really safe outdoor game. My sisters would chase me with lawn darts. Late night, capture the flag with my cousins from Louisiana. They would be the rebels, we would be the Yankees. Let's not talk about that. Getting to sit up at the big... I remember sitting at the big table with my grandparents and parents playing pinochle. My dad had this red bowl of peanuts. I'd sit on his lap and just dip in there and crack peanuts on a late summer afternoon when my grandparents were over. I remember thunderstorms, turning on a transistor radio. Karen Carpenter would be singing, hanging around, nothing to do but frown. Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. And then when the sun came back up, my mom would put on some Coppertone suntan lotion that smelled like coconuts on my skin and give me a pool pass and my towel, and I'd go back across the street because the pool would be back open, or taking a swig of my mom's cool glass of Tab. Do you guys remember Tab? Small melted ice cubes. We'd have watermelon seed spitting fights, water balloon tosses. We'd go to the movie theater, drive-in movie theater, Swiss Family Robinson. Go to Cedar Point to ride the Blue Streak. Memory upon memory upon memory. But what made those times great is that my mom and dad were home. And I felt safe. But not only did I feel safe, they didn't obsess about safety. Like they didn't scare me half to death. I was going to go out the door for all day long and get murdered. They'd let us go to Lake Erie all day long. My sister and I'd follow creek patterns till late at night. I can remember going to bed and just hearing my brothers and sisters playing outside, and my brother jumping ramps on he had a big fork in the front of his bike and ramp over his friends, and I could hear him outside. Those were great days. The Beatles had a song that summed up these times perfectly. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Things were all right. Life was all right. Where did all right go? And how do we get it back? That's my question. And that brings us to the next psalm. If you could up your Bibles, we are going through a summer of psalms, and I am going to bring you upon a little gem of a psalm that I love. And I'm calling it the all right psalm, or this is how we bring all right back, and it's Psalm 131, where everything is all right. Psalm 131. You can follow along with me. It's a psalm of David, King David, probably the busiest man who ever lived. This guy was always in war and fight and setting up the temple and having these crazy sons and daughters, and he wrote this psalm. And here's what it says. My heart is not proud, Lord. My eyes are not haughty. I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me. No, I have calmed and quieted myself. Some versions said I've stilled and quieted my soul. I'm like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child, I am content. Israel, put your hope in the Lord both now and forevermore. And I'm saying this is a psalm that makes everything all right. We need this psalm if for no other reason as we have an anxiety epidemic. A real anxiety epidemic in our world. And in this town of Kent City, there's an anxiety epidemic. People are stressed out. Everywhere you go and you talk to people, they're anxious, they're worried, they're nervous, and they just feel fragile, as if, man, tomorrow that next shoe's going to drop, or you never know when that straw is going to be placed on the camel's back. Most of us are tired and feeling like if we keep up this pace, we're not going to make it. I can't keep up this pace. That's what this psalm is for. A book was recently published, very popular with the moms in our church. It's been in the library. It's called The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. And he writes, people these days, and dogs, are chronically in defense mode and are more defensive and anxious than ever. They have only rare moments of perceived safety. They tend to see new situations, people, and ideas as potential threats rather than as opportunities. Even when members of Gen Z are not on their devices and appear to be doing something in the real world, such as sitting in class, eating a meal, or talking with you, a substantial portion of their attention is monitoring or worrying about events that are happening on the social media. I believe there are 4 main reasons we have an anxiety epidemic. And much of it is what he was hinting at, this dastardly device. It's killing us. If I was Satan and I could invent a tool where I could capture everybody's attention and make them stare at it all day long, I think I'd invent this. It's a grand invention of destroying lives. But I'm going to tell you 4 reasons anxiety is tearing us up. Number 1 is this voyeuristic jealousy. Really, it comes from this. It comes from the social media scourge. What is voyeurism? Listen to what voyeurism is. It's finding pleasure in the act of secretly watching others do intimate things. Finding pleasure in watching others do intimate things. This stupid phone, it gets things done, but it also allows people to be peeping Toms and Tanyas without consequences. We put on this Instagram pictures, Facebook, TikTok, and all they're talking about is goings on, vacation secrets, beach outings, and you're allowing people in to snoop, gawk, and gaze, and really they have no right to know this stuff. Back in the 1970s, if people would spy on my four sisters having fun in the backyard in their bathing suit, going through sprinklers, and my dad caught them, he'd either call the police or he'd get my brother and him to hide them in the backyard under 6 feet of dirt or something. But now, if we don't post, we feel left out because we need to show everybody we're having just as much fun as everybody else. I really believe, sounds weird, but I really believe people go on spring break not primarily to have fun with their family, but to prove that they went on spring break. Sounds warped, but I really believe that's why people go on spring break these days. Jonathan Haidt writes, girls in virtual networks are subjected to hundreds of times more social comparison than girls had experienced for all of human history. They are exposed to more cruelty and bullying because social media platforms incentivize and facilitate relational aggression. Their openness and willingness to share emotions with other girls exposes them to depression and other disorders. Ouch! He goes on to write, the phone-based life makes it difficult for people to be fully present with others when they are with others. You've seen that. You've seen it, and I do it. I'm with people that I have been waiting to be with, and then while I'm with them, I make appointments with other people. We're never fully present. And then when we're alone, we don't know how to be alone. And the great irony of social media is the more you immerse yourself in it, the more lonely and depressed you become. That's the first reason anxiety is at epidemic. Second reason is existential crisis is at a crisis. Everything's an existential crisis. If you listen to the news for too long, TV, online chatter, the more it seems like the world is falling apart and it's going to blow up any second now. Politicians and pundits call it existential crisis. Climate change, AI takeover, Islamic jihad, Christian nationalism, COVID and big pharma conspiracy, transhuman clothing, ID theft, child trafficking, gluten intolerance, autistic explosion, black ops, government overreach, and the wars never stop in the Middle East. On and on, dark threats of extinction go almost every day. One writer said, every crisis is like a snowball getting bigger. And the longer you let it roll downhill, if you can catch it at the top or get in front of it, you have a better opportunity to manage it, to hold on to it, maybe shrink it. But if we let that snowball get to the bottom, no one will be able to stop its destruction. We're perpetually bombarded by this stuff. Third thing is I would just say, there's this new, what I call political moral culpability. People love to blame other people for who they voted for. We've turned elections into reasons to condemn our neighbors. If you cast a vote for an elected official who you just think will do a better job, and then that elected official passes a policy that the other side seems or deems destructive, it's your fault. You are to blame. You are the one that made that politician do what he did. And time and again, you go on Facebook and countless comments attacking your Christianity by pointing out the ungodly choices of the elected officials you voted in. So the immigration crisis is your fault. The Texas flood is your fault. The tariff prices are your fault. And on, the finger pointing goes. And somehow, what once used to be just cast a vote, and that's a good civic duty, has now been reason to say, you don't love anybody. You're a hypocritical Christian. That's heavy, and it's everywhere. The fourth thing is I'd just say, why'd that double up? Fourth thing is having a bad clicker and ruins your sermon. The fourth thing is we are constantly trying to be perfect, and if you fail to be perfect, you are guilty. It can kill you like it kills us. One writer says, socially prescribed perfectionism is why there's so much anxiety. Being a perfectionist increases your anxiety because you fear, listen to this, you fear the shame of public failure from everything you do. If you yell at your kids once, Dad, you are a failing father. If you give your kid a chocolate chip cookie before dinner, you're a bad mom. You bad mom. Especially if that cookie's not gluten-free. Bad mom. Bad mom. If you bottle feed and not breastfeed, your child may grow up with a lower IQ the rest of his or her life, and it's all your fault. Moms, don't worry about it. I was raised on bottles. See my IQ? That gives you more fear than you ever had before. Oh, as I was meditating on this sermon, especially this point, I had a little bit of insomnia. I got up at 2:30 in the morning to get some water from the sink, and while I was in the kitchen getting some water, a small little lightning bug flew in and landed right by my hand. It was blinking there, blink, 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 and I wanted to smash it. But all of a sudden, that book title, To Kill a Mockingbird, is the idea if you kill a mockingbird, it's like a sin. I'm thinking, man, I'll bet if you killed a lightning bug, it'd be a sin. So what I did is I gently picked up that little lightning bug and gently threw it out the back door because I didn't want to smash it, because I didn't want God to smash me, and anxiety is everywhere. What I did is I decided, because I couldn't go to bed, so I decided to write a list of the things I constantly worry about. This is my 2 Corinthians chapter 12 list. These are things I constantly worry about. And if I don't succeed at them, I'm in trouble with everybody. All right? So I started with the church and our budget. I realized, man, giving has been really low for the past few months, and as lead pastor, I feel completely responsible for it. And if we don't make budget, bills won't get paid, pastors won't get paid. If the pastors don't get paid, Trevor won't be able to feed his kids. Will, because they eat the bark from trees. But our reputation will go down. And if our reputation goes down, people will leave, and it's all my fault. And then I thought about relationships in the church. As the head pastor, I better shake people's hands, learn all the names of new people, keep up with all the longtime members, know names of the people I see when I'm shopping at Meijer, visit shut-ins, make hospital calls, counsel and save all the broken marriages, go fishing with the guys that invite me to go fishing, play as an extra at the golf league, join a softball team, run the prayer night, convince people to come to prayer night, guilt people to come to prayer night, run the Harbor of Perfect Sermons, start a fun podcast, join a home fellowship group, run a small men's group, stay off Facebook, because it might make people mad at the church, but be on Facebook because a good pastor needs to post things that are culturally relevant. Answer everyone who texts me, pray for missionaries, help local missionaries with raising money, be the main leader in our pastoral association, evangelize my neighbors, finish the new pulpit. Don't miss a graduation open house, speak at Lake Ann Camp, read books on writing, read books people are writing, write more books people want to read. And if I don't, I failed as a pastor. And then I wrote this. This is a heavy one. My house. Seal the driveway, clean the gutter, sweep the roof, clean the lawnmower, get some gas for a lawnmower, clean the garage, wash the siding, cut the grass, empty the septic, gather wood for the bonfire, wash the cars, upkeep the cars, change the oil, help my 4 kids with their car payments, find them good insurance, remove the dents on their car, get my air conditioning fixed, pay for yearly tags, recreational tags, change the headlights, remember the mileage for my taxes, and if I don't, what kind of owner am I? And then I wrote, my wife. Keep her happy. Love her family that lives in town. Take her out on regular dates. Help her get groceries. Serve sometimes 8 hungry adults without breaking the bank. Try that sometime. Help make dinner, cook good burgers and brats on a grill, clean the grill, fill the tank for the grill, maintain a low sodium diet to keep my blood pressure down, do Beachbody workout to keep my big belly down, clean the kitchen floor. So to have a clean house, don't leave a wet towel on the bed, make bed, put toilet seat up, save cancer bottle return, weed the front flower bed, fill up the hummingbird feeder, pay bills, keep up with insurance, pay hospital bills for son and daughter, sign my son up for health insurance, find a right doctor for my son. And if I don't do this, I don't love as Christ loves. And then I wrote, my kids, pray for spouses for them. Pray for dates for them. Pray for purity for them. Give them advice on investments, on cars, on jobs, on having a devotional life, on adulting, on spending time with them, beating them at board games. Call my mom. Find a time to visit my mom. Call my sister. Call my sister. Call my other sister. Call my brother. Help my nephews. Help my nieces. Help my nieces' kids. And I haven't even thought about vacation yet. Ah! I just read this from a guy named Mark Manson. You're so worried about doing the right thing all the time that you become worried about how much you're worrying. Or you feel so guilty for every mistake you make that you begin to feel guilty about how guilty you're feeling. Or you get sad and alone so often that it makes you feel even more sad and alone just thinking about it. Has anybody ever been there? Raise your hand. If you've ever been, every day I'm there. Every day. So that's why I'm bringing you to Psalm 131. In Psalm 131, there's 2 cures for anxiety. These are incredible cures, but you have to apply the cure. The first one we find in verse 1. Listen to what it said. My heart is not proud, Lord. My eyes are not haughty. I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me. So here's what King David is saying. We need to learn to embrace, grab a hold on, don't let go of it, the freedom found in being humble and humility. Humility is amazing. It sets you free. Sets you free. What is humility? It's just having a right view of yourself, that I'm made of dirt. I'm made of dust. Not only am I made of dust, means I am a limited creature who soon will die, and when I die, I face God's judgment. That's what humility means. But instead of defining it, David just gives us 3 things humility does or doesn't do. It's the way humility acts, and I call it the 3 is nots. These are the 3 is nots of humility. The first thing is the heart is not proud. The heart is the center of your soul. It includes your intelligence, your reason, and your understanding. And David said, don't be proud about your intelligence, your reason, or your understanding. Pride is the desire to lift and exalt yourself beyond your place, up to God's place, and sometimes even above God. C.S. Lewis writes, pride is spiritual cancer. Pride is spiritual cancer. So a humble heart must begin here. Here's where a humble heart begins. I can't know everything. I don't know everything. So it benefits me to first and foremost learn from others. I can't know everything. I don't know everything. So I have to listen and learn from others. Second thing, my eye is not haughty. Haughtiness is how I view myself compared to others. I am not haughty. Haughtiness, especially in the Old Testament, is a nasty, nasty word. It always portrays it like this. A haughty person has their arms crossed, their chin up, looking a little bit sideways and down at people. And Jesus said, the Pharisees are haughty. See that Pharisee, how he prays next to the tax collector? The Pharisee usually says this, thank you, Lord, that I am not like that man. That's haughtiness. If I believe myself to be better, I will never listen. And I'll always feel the need to prove my superiority. And when I feel the need to prove I'm superior over other people, it heightens stress and anxiety. Because not only do I not have to keep up with the Joneses, I have to be better than the Joneses. I have all the new stuff. I need to know all the new information. I got to be the one who's got it all together. And it's impossible because I'm dirt. The third thing is this. Me, myself, and I is not concerned with great matters. Look what it says. I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me. What are great matters? What are great matters? Whatever you think you know about when you really have no idea about what you think you know about. That's a great matter. Let me say that again. A great matter is whatever you think you know about when you really have no idea about what you think you know about. So I brought up this idea of existential crises. Do you really think you've been given the capability to know how to fix all of those situations? Like, tell me, can you solve the problem of the Middle East? Did you know that the problem with the Middle East has been raging and out of control since the birth of Ishmael and Isaac? That's a long time. They've been fighting for a long time, but you've come along and you've got the answer. So go pick it. Get her done. Really? Do you really know what the president has to deal with on a daily basis? Do you have any idea? Oh, man. I don't want that job. I have to run this church, and it's too much. I don't want the president. I don't want it. Nope. Do you think humans can wipe out death and disease with a new cure you read about online? When God himself has declared that we will all die someday? Can we really prove him wrong? The beauty of humility is you don't need to have an answer for everything. So you can stop looking for the next secret that will unlock the mysteries of the universe in a 15-minute video. And guess what? When you do, humility allows you to look in the eyes of other humans again, to actually go outside and swing on a swing or toss a water balloon at your neighbor. Or, I shouldn't say this, pray and let God deal with it. And then if you let God deal with it, you can go on your back hammock and you'll be all right. Years ago, I learned a concept. I've taught it a couple times in my sermons, but I need to keep teaching on it because I believe it can set you free from pride and arrogance and guilt and shame. And it's called providential proximity, meaning God is providential and where he's placed you is where he wants you. And if that's where he places you, then those events that are closest to you are what you should care about. So the idea is you're kind of like a stone tossed into this lake. And from that stone, ripples come out. But the farther the ripple goes, the less defined the ripple is. So basically what providential proximity says is, I am not, nor can I be, responsible for understanding and controlling all events. I'm really responsible for the events that are closest to me. So you could say this: nearness determines importance. So all those people that are living in your house matter 100 million times more than the problems taking place in Washington, D.C. Or the stress your kids deal with at school should matter more than the demands of the rioters that are looting the stores in L.A. So before you get engrossed in national politics, ask yourself, do my spouse, my children, and my friends at church feel understood and loved by me, or am I so caught up in the issues way across the lake that I completely lost the love for the people God has directly placed in my life? Or you could say this: when I get to heaven, who is Jesus going to ask you to give an accounting for? Those closest to you? Or something Donald Trump did, Joe Biden did, Vladimir Putin did, Hamas did, Bill Gates did, or Brad Pitt did? Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church, Paul writes. Who am I supposed to love? You know, the lady that sleeps next to you at night. When is the last time you listened to what is on her heart? Or you needed to hear what Tucker Carlson said on his podcast for 2 hours like you did last night and the night before. Wives, respect your husbands. Who, the man that works all day, keeps your car running, takes out the garbage, deals with angry customers at work so you can buy that new dress. When was the last time you said thanks to him, or you had to go out on another bargain shopping spree with your girlfriends because you don't want to miss out on all the deals so you can keep up with the neighbors? No wonder there's so much tension in a home, and your kids want to sleep over at their friend's house. Mom and Dad don't even know each other anymore. Well, that's the first one. Embrace humility. Then there's the second one. This cure for anxiety is fantastic, but you got to really listen to it. Listen to what verse 2 says. I have calmed and quieted myself. I am like a weaned child with its mother, like a weaned child. I am content. So the second thing is this: soak, like you're sitting in it. Just soak in the joy of Sabbath, the Sabbath. David is saying that instead of worrying about things you have no control over, let God calm you down. Rest in Him like a child who is well fed and fully satisfied. Those were great days. They were great days. I remember when my kids, after a Sunday afternoon, they just got done eating, they'd just climb up in your lap and just hold them and they zonk out. Sometimes drool would come down their mouth. But they'd breathe like this. Oh. That's what verse 2 is. It's that kind of rest. Rest in Him like a child who's well fed and fully satisfied. The tyranny of the next thing on the to-do list is killing all of us, as if getting stuff done is the reason I exist. No, I exist to find delight in God. Psalm 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Is God's promises true or not? Psalm 127:1-2. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain, for He gives sleep to those He loves. So I've been reading this book. It's a tremendous book on practical theology. I got just done reading about the importance of the Sabbath and the Sabbath day. So the idea is, in Genesis, for 6 days God made the world, and on the Sabbath, seventh day, He rested and called it good. Listen to what Christopher Walken says about this. This is incredible. Was God tired? Hardly. No, He wasn't tired. Was He lazy? Of course not. God was not lazy. God's rest makes clear that work is not all there is for God. After the work, God stops and He rests, then blesses the seventh day and makes it holy. The climax of work, it's not a promotion, it's not a raise, it's not recognition, it's rest. It's the reason we work. For many, the only reason to stop work is, and this is what I think one of the prime Christian teaching is, the reason you need a day off is so you can work better the next week. So really the reason for rest is for work. And he's saying, no, for God, the rest itself is the thing. Neither the rest of laziness, because He worked for 6 days. Work is good. Neither the rest of increasing productivity. I need to do more and more and more, but it's the rest of enjoyment. Sabbath does not resist the real world. It resists the illusion that production and consumption fill the entire horizon of the world. In other words, we need to resist serving the insatiable gods of imperial productivity. That means do this, work, 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 get it done. If you don't, you're no good. That's imperial, meaning like a king yelling at you. Where have we learned that I'm only as good as what I get done? Why have we let our job titles and promotions define us? It's killing us because that's not why we were ultimately made. We were made for God. There's a passage. Do you remember when Mary took that alabaster jar? Mary's Martha's sister and Lazarus' sister. She took the alabaster jar, she smashed it and poured the oil over Jesus' head. And it says, when the disciples saw this, they were indignant. They said, "Why this waste?" They asked. "This perfume could have been sold at a high price." See, it's all about making and earning money. We could have given that money to the poor. And aware of this, Jesus said, "Why are you bothering this woman? She's done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me." And so I'd say, did you know not only will the poor still be there, the rust will still be there, the moth will still be there, and the dented car door will still be there, and the more work that needs to be done will still be there. But when you're so busy always trying to fix everything around you, and you feel any relaxation, enjoyment is a waste of a day, you're forgetting Jesus. You're missing Him. As Hebrews said, if today you hear His voice of rest, Harden not your heart. And there's a reward if you slow down. Say you find it in verse 3. Look at verse 3. Israel, put your hope in the Lord both now and forevermore. So you could say the reward of slowing down is that everything will be all right. Your trust will start maturing. You'll start becoming a more mature person of faith. That's what that means. And the more your trust matures, the more hope you have. And you know what hope is? Hope is simply saying that God has the future under control. And when you know God has the future under control, you can enjoy today. You can say, it's all right. In a sense, that's what eternal life is. Eternal life, heaven, all that heaven is God's got this. And it can start today. Everything's all right. Or I can put it like this. I learned a while back that, did you know the Satanic Bible, all the Satanic Bible is they rewrote just the opposite. They wrote it to make money. So like if blessed are the poor, they just wrote blessed are the rich. You know, it's, wow, you guys are so smart, you Satanists. But the Satanic Bible is just exactly the opposite. What happens if you reverse Psalm 131? It's a horror show. And this horror show most of us are living in. Listen to what it says if I reverse it. And be careful if this exemplifies your life. My heart is proud. And who's the Lord? My eyes are haughty. No one's better than me. I concern myself with all things because nothing is too wonderful for me. I can't stay calm. I can't wait. I'm envious. I'm driven. I'm a competitive man and very angry at those who get in my way, especially those who drive in front of me on the highway and they cut me off. That means they're going to be 2 seconds ahead of me, and they're going to make it to the event 2 seconds ahead of me, and I can't have that because those 2 seconds. I'm a person who never has enough, never enough. Red-blooded Americans, don't trust anyone but yourself because everyone's out to cheat you. And last of all, don't ever trust God. He'll let you down. He'll let you down. You know, maybe this is why Jesus said, Matthew 18:3, truly I tell you, unless you change, you become like little children. I'm thinking of little children who are in their bed hearing mom and dad downstairs playing cards, knowing everything's okay. Little children who run to the dinner table when mom brings out those pizzas that she just got done in the oven because you're trusting her. Truly I tell you, unless you change, become like little children, you'll never enter the kingdom of heaven. When you let dad be in control, everything is all right.